What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. I just was scrolling through YouTube and I saw a clip, a short. I guess it was from Hater's World, one of his lives. I don't know how old it was, but on the short, there was a youngster. He had a black hoodie on. Actually had the hood over his head. Somebody called in and they were having a little discussion. And the youngster said that he has respect for his older homeboys, the ones that put in work for the barrio, but there's a lot of older cats that have a lot to say and they never did nothing. That's a fact. That's in every barrio, every neighborhood. But he also goes on to say that everybody nowadays in the barrio is using the N-word. And the guy on the phone said, nah, maybe everybody you hang around, but not everybody's using that. You don't got to try to fit in. And the youngster stuck to his guns where everyone is using that word. I've done videos on this. Most of the content creators that are Raza, that were from barrios, that are from barrios, have done videos on it. I'm very, 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 very much against that word being used by anyone. I've talked about in the California Youth Authority as well as in prison. I did time with blacks that didn't even like blacks using that word. If the blacks choose to use that word, that's on them. That's their thing. That's their prerogative. But I can tell you that I remember seeing white convicts laugh when they would hear blacks use that word. No matter how you twist it, that word is not a word of a term of endearment. It has more years of hatred behind that word than supposed camaraderie. You hear that word when people are angry, no matter what race they are. If they choose to use that word, they use it out of anger. It's a hateful word. I don't use it. I remember when I was a youngster in my neighborhood, if anybody would have tried to sag, they got their ass whooped. They would have tried to use that word, they'd have got their ass whooped. If they even had a funny haircut, they'd fuck around and got their ass whooped. Let me tell you guys something. I remember being in the hole in New Folsom, 1996, and we're out there on the yard. There was a homie on the yard with us that was black. I'm going to use his name and his neighborhood. I heard he's still doing time. Unfortunately, he was a cool dude. Turtle from the Magicians. The homies were playing handball. He was on the court. He hit the ball. The guy would tell he called the ball out. In the heat of the moment, you know, it was a good handball game. Turtle's black. Turtle said, nah, in the N-word. That shit wasn't out. When I tell you that whole ad seg yard went completely, deafeningly quiet, instantly, you don't understand how quiet it got and how quick everybody turned to look. Turtle said, hey, I'm cool. I'm cool with this game. I'm done. Went up to every single dude. It was Southerns and whites on the yard. Shook their hands. My bad, eh? Just got mad. Turtle wasn't going to get hit for something like that. But even he knew. Even though he's black, he's from a barrio. There was no room for that. That wasn't the place for that. That wasn't the situation for that. I don't know if dudes are on the yard using that word right now. I've been out of prison. Next month No, July will be 9 years I've been out of prison. I know me personally, first of all, when he says everybody's using that word, you know what? On Call of Duty, everybody is. I hear dudes using that word, and I'm the first to tell them, hey, you ain't black, Holmes. Quit trying to fit in. Just like that caller was telling that youngster. That youngster might be a good youngster. But if anybody tells me that somebody using that word, that term, isn't trying to fit in, I beg to differ. You are trying to fit in. You didn't grow up with that word in your home. You didn't. Your older family members, your older homeboys weren't using that word. I've been doing time with dudes from Compton, Watts, South Central for decades. Never, ever were they using that word. Only one dude, I talked about it. I done a video about it. There was two dudes. One dude from Compton and his road dog was from Culver City. They were using that word in New Folsom. It wasn't too long. Both of them got whacked. The excuse was made, but what they really got hit for was using that word. It was a bad look. They both played themselves and allowed themselves to get crossed up and say it was over dope. Wasn't over dope either time. It was over that word. There's no place for that word. It damn sure ain't a cool points word. If somebody wants to be impressive, if some youngster wants to be impressive, he won't use that word. He won't try to fit in. He'll stand out for doing things his way. And the people that use that word that aren't black use it more than blacks. You hear blacks talk about it all the time. Like it's literally every other word. And then they mix in on the dead homies a term that was never used frivolously in the past. That would get you whooped too. Using that term frivolously. Then they mix in gang. What's up, gang? Every era, I guess, has their own slang and terminology. But some words being used nowadays were so dangerous in the past and thrown around like nothing nowadays. You literally hear all the time on the internet. Somebody will lie, straight up lie, and say, that's on the hood. That's on my hood. And it's a blatant lie. What it is their homeboys ain't busting them up. Especially when they know they're lying. Like, fool, what? You just blew up the neighborhood? I'm not a fan of violence. I don't condone violence. I try to promote positive thinking. I try to promote personal accountability. That's how we get ahead. That's how we progress. But when I saw that right now, I was like, you know what? Let me make another video on this topic, man. It doesn't sound cool. It doesn't look cool. And not everybody's doing it. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.